we're finally getting some change. Welcome back to the Teen Phillips podcast. I'm your host, Teen Phillips, and today we're going to be talking about how Ken Norton got fired. Let's go. I don't know how I didn't hear about this earlier. A teacher that talks to me about some football stuff every once in a while, he said, "Oh, Jace, did you know that Ken Norton got fired like 2 days ago?" I don't know how this didn't pop up as like an NFL notification for me. I literally have the Seahawks selected as my favorite team in the NFL app, so this should have like been like, oh, beep boop boop boop, like super alert, Seahawks fire a coach, but it didn't for some odd reason. And yeah, but the Seahawks are interviewing some guys. So to start it out, the Seahawks are interviewing the Cowboys pass game coordinator Joe Whitt. Joe Whitt is coming from a 3-4 hybrid scheme, so that's super exciting to see. Where all these guys, none of these guys are coming from a 4-3 like the Seahawks have been running, except for the guy that they want to promote from inside, which will most likely happen because Pete hates change and he just wants a yes man. But this guy, he comes from a 3-4 background. He was a coach for the Packers in those horrifying years where they absolutely sucked, and it was just they just had a bad defense because they spent no money on it. Then he was the Falcons cornerbacks coach or pass game or like cornerback coach or whatever, and for the Falcons in 2020 when they sucked. But then this year he went to the Cowboys and he got some talent on the defense with Micah Parsons and their pass rush being able to get to the quarterback, and he had Trayvon Diggs and a non-horrifying secondary, and he was able to do something with it. Trayvon Diggs had 10 interceptions, and the rest of that defense played really solid in the cornerback group. Yes, they did have some like blown coverage plays, quite a few of them, but it's gonna happen in a 3-4 downhill attacking scheme. It was more of like an exotic 3-4. When I was doing some research, it was like a 3-3-5, where it's like 3 pass rushers, 3 linebackers, and a load of cornerbacks and safeties. So you're probably gonna get more interceptions that way, anyways. But I don't know. I kind of like him. He's probably at the bottom of my list of the 3 guys that they're interviewing from what I saw. But yeah, I definitely have him at the bottom. I don't want him a ton, but I wouldn't be upset if we got him. Next up, Sean Desai. He's been with the Bears pretty much his entire career as their defensive quality control coach. And then this year he got promoted to defensive coordinator. So he's been with them his entire career pretty much. He's been coaching for since like the 2010s with the Bears, and he's been doing great. He was obviously with them during those awesome 2018 2019 years with the Bears, where their defense was top 5 when Khalil Mack was healthy, when everybody was healthy and young. So yes, he does get a little bit of help from a talent buff with all those players, but he's still been coaching a solid defense. This year, Bears defense took a step back, but it was still a pretty solid defense. And you didn't even have Khalil Mack. You didn't have your best player, and you still had a really solid defense. So what's awesome is this guy. He's also a 3-4. He's also a 3-4 defensive coach. It's so nice to see change. I've been wanting a 3-4 defense for so long, and we're finally probably going to be getting it with us mainly interviewing 3-4 defensive coordinators. So it's awesome to see. And yeah, this guy, I'd be happy to see him come to the Seahawks. He's definitely my second choice, and on to my number 1. At number 1 for coaches I want to see get hired is Ed Dontel. He's been the Broncos defensive coordinator for I think like 3 years, and I'd love to see Ed Dontel come here. He was working with Pete Carroll in his college days. He worked with Pete Carroll when he was with the Jets. And for the past 3 years, yes, the Broncos didn't have as good of a defense as they did in the past couple years this year, but you also didn't have Von Miller anymore, and you also lost some pieces on that defense. So, yeah, I think our defense is definitely more talented than the Broncos defense has been for the past 2-3 years. So, if the Broncos are holding up a consistent like top 10 defense, and we're consistently a top 10 defense, but with a horrible defensive coach, what do you think is going to happen when we get a top 10 defensive coordinator in here that boosts us up? We're going to be a top 4 defense, a top 5 defense. This is going to be amazing. So Ed Dontel, definitely my number one choice. 3-4 scheme. He runs great. He's a great defensive coordinator. He's been with the Broncos for quite a few years. And what's even more amazing is this finally fits into what works best for Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams, he can run what's most comfortable for him, and he can blitz, he can drop back, and just stay in like the middle of the field to guard tight ends and running backs. This works perfect for him. Then Bobby Wagner, you have him at a pure middle linebacker. It's not just 2 middle linebackers and a single linebacker on the field with some corners and safeties. It's just Bobby Wagner and, say, Jordan Brooks, or Bobby Wagner and like one other. What? No. That was wrong. Hold on. Don't listen to me about that. It's Bobby Wagner playing like pure middle linebacker. Then you have 3 rushers, and then you have, say, Jordan Brooks and Cody Barton and maybe like just some other random linebacker rush forward, and then they'll fake a blitz, they'll drop back, and it's just a lot more of an exotic scheme than the 4-3, because you know what's going to happen in the 4-3. It's like, okay, I got these guys, linebackers are going to sit there, cornerbacks are just going to cover. It's really basic. With the 3-4, there's a lot more chess that goes into it than checkers, and I'm really excited to see that. And Jordan Brooks, I think that he could be a solid like pass rusher that drops back here and there in the scheme, and I think he'll do solid. Bobby Wagner probably going to be gone after this year. Probably almost. I'm like almost able to guarantee it, but I'm not going to guarantee anything because I'm going to get clipped, and I ain't trying to get clipped. So Bobby Wagner, he probably gone off after the season. Jordan Brooks, slot him back in middle linebacker. We're going to have to pick up some rush linebackers in the free agency and draft. And overall, we're going to be flipping defensive schemes. It's going to be working well for Marquise Blair. It's going to be working well for pretty much every single player on our team, on our defense. So this is exciting, but sadly, there is somebody that could ruin this, and that is our Seahawks defensive line coach. They're likely going to be promoting from within, and they've said that they like him the most for the job. But I do not want that, and I hope it doesn't happen, because I don't want another 4-3 scheme that we've been running for the past 8 years. I'm over it. I'm tired of it. It's boring. It's the same thing. It's just, okay, give up 500 yards a game for their offense and on our defense, and then you'll score 20 points. It's so annoying because your defense gets super tired out, and then your offense has to pick up the slack, but then your offense is never on the same beat as your defense. And I don't know, just make it a 3-4 so we can rush Jamal Adams and use him the proper way. So yeah, but if you did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing, and yeah, other than that, have a good rest of your day.